Hello. Now I'm going to talk about my second part of my story. Do you remember before when we were talking about my cancer? Well, anyways, this all happened in Texas when a doctor forced me to go to the hospital. But they did find cancer. But now I've gone through the steps and everything and I'm all done. I went to a variety of different doctors. The first one was a medical professional. He was the one that actually did the surgery. And then I went to a radiologist. And then I went to an oncologist. And then, I had to go to chemo. I did a lot of various different things. So I set up an appointment to go to the radiologist. And so I went there one day. And they said I had to get a tattoo. I said, oh, really? Thinking, what kind of a tattoo do I want? I want a smiley face. Like, oh, yeah, I want a tattoo. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I went and I said, do I get to pick my tattoo? They said, no, it's just little dots. We're going to put 6 dots on your chest. I said, oh, darn. Well, okay. And the dots had to be so specific because they had to measure them. So they made the dots, and they hurt a little bit. I felt the sting. But anyways, they finished doing the dots, and then I was just laying there, and this machine was going all around me. It was so exact. It followed the dots and made lines on me. And it took like an hour, and I was just laying there. It wasn't very comfortable. And then after that, every morning, Monday through Friday, I would go for chemo. They said I had to wear a certain shirt, and then I couldn't wear deodorant. And I said, oh, all right. So I started, and I went there, and I just laid there. The machine was flashing lights on me, and it was fine. I was just laying there. It took like a minute, and that was it. So I got home, and then I noticed I had red lines on my chest. So I went and got some aloe, and I rubbed it on. And it was really smooth and nice. So I did 6 weeks of chemo, and then I went to another doctor. I went to a different medical doctor. And I told him I was losing my hair and I was throwing up, and I hate throwing up. It's awful. And he offered me a drug, but I said, there's some side effects, so I don't really want to take that. We'll hold off on that one. I said, do you have any ideas for me to get better? I said, fine, that's okay, I'll take it. So, are you sure? So, I said, well, why not go to a family doctor? So I read the newspaper, and I asked them. I said, okay, fine. So I went to that doctor. I said, do you have any suggestions for me? Can I take this medicine? And they said no. So then I went to the radiologist and asked him. He yelled at me. He said, absolutely not. You cannot take that. I said, well, kind of just hunched down and said, okay. But it was still a problem. I was still throwing up. So then I went to another woman doctor. And then I asked her. And she said some hormones can make it actually worse. And she read my paper, and she said I'm positive for pestrogen and estrogen. They're both hormones. I said I'm estrogen positive. And so she told me the procedure. She told me I need to go to the medical doctor and ask for a prescription. And so I went to him and I asked him for the procedure for the hormone medicine. But it turns out they told me I was positive for both, but I'm only positive for one. She said, "Don't worry." She said, "You're positive for one. I know but I said, but they told me two." I would say, go get a second opinion. I said, okay. So I went and I got a second opinion.